What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 82 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy these podcasts, please share the link with your friends. If you'd like to support our work with people caught in the snare of addiction, homelessness, or incarceration anywhere around the world, please click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled, I Can't Change My Circumstances. Welcome back to episode 82 of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast entitled, I Can't Change My Circumstances. Today we're going to be looking at some quotes from Viktor Frankl. He was an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, philosopher, author, and Holocaust survivor. And he was the founder of logotherapy, which is a school of psychotherapy which describes a search for life's meaning as the central human motivational force. So today, I'm going to be looking at 5 quotes from Viktor Frankl to help each of us reflect on our individual life purpose. I'll be presenting these 5 quotes as sort of a step-by-step plan to change your circumstances. You ready? So here's the first one. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. For those of you who are regular listeners, remember the serenity prayer that I presented a few podcasts ago. And the serenity prayer includes the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In this quote, Viktor Frankl is challenging each of us to look in the mirror and see what needs to change in us when we can't change our circumstances. I want to encourage each of you that you can change. You can definitely change yourself. And when you change yourself, you are actually minimizing the chance that the circumstances you are facing today will repeat themselves in the future. Our second quote from Viktor Frankl is, "The last human freedoms, the ability to choose one's attitude in a given set of circumstances." This is a deep one. So I want to ask, what is your attitude today about your current circumstances? Are you depressed? Do you see that your circumstances seem unfair to you? Are you sitting around saying, why me? Why is all this happening to me? Or maybe you're blaming everyone else but yourself for your circumstances. Hopefully, your look in the mirror from the first quote will lead you to this quote's challenge to choose your attitude in the midst of your circumstances. And for any of you regular listeners, you know that I like to think in pictures. So here's what I'd like to do for this quote. Think about the Winnie the Pooh characters as you think about which attitude you will choose in the midst of your present circumstances. Will you be depressed and wallow in that depression like Eeyore? Maybe you want to choose the positive attitude of Winnie, who finds the best in all circumstances, or the happiness of Roo, if not the crazy joy of Tigger. Remember what Frankl said in this quote. You have the freedom to choose your attitude. Okay? Our third quote. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. So this quote reminds us that some of you might be thinking, David, you don't understand. My circumstances are unbearable. They're weighing me down, and I'm drowning under the weight of these circumstances. I can hardly get out of bed in the morning. I can hardly face the day or face my friends and family. If that's you, I urge you to take this quote from Frankl personally. He is saying, if your circumstances feel unbearable, it's not because of the huge weight of your situation, but it's because of the smallness of meaning and purpose in your current life situation. So your challenge in this third step is to begin to put activities of meaning and purpose in your life. And if you think of any meaning or purpose that you would add, this is a perfect discussion topic for you to do with your coach or small group. Fourth quote, ever more people today have the means to live, but no meaning to live for. Wow, we're really getting deep now. Often when addicts begin to establish recovery, whether they do it on their own or through a treatment program, a rehab, or at a homeless shelter, there's an emphasis on getting a job and establishing a routine of discipline. This involves getting up for work every day on time, the routine of personal hygiene and taking care of, being presentable when you show up to work, and then good work habits when you get there. And many therapists or coaches may say to you that when you find a job, you will find purpose and meaning. But one of the problems that I see in this is that because of your past in addiction and possibly a criminal record, you're not finding a job that you view as a career with purpose and meaning. You're just getting something that, will bring in money at the first place that will hire you and just give you another chance. So this is the exact point that Frankl is talking about in this quote when he says, you have the means to live, you're making the money, but you have no meaning to live for. So again, I want to encourage you to focus on what is your meaning to live for. Is it goals? Is it reconciliation? Is it a career? Is it a home? Whatever it might be, focus on this step with what is your meaning to live for. And the fifth step from the quote by Viktor Frankl is, those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Whew. This last quote from Frankl is key to what we're talking about in today's podcast. Viktor Frankl encourages us by saying, once you've figured out why you want to be alive and what your meaning to live for is, you've found that purpose and meaning. You found the key to pushing through any and all circumstances which might try to hold you back. It is in this step that we truly realize when we cannot change our circumstances, that we must change ourselves. And we have, through all 5 of these steps, developed the motivation to make those changes. So in closing, I'd like to review those 5 steps again for you. And I urge you to really make an action plan for yourself as you look at these 5 steps. Again, the first step is when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So again, in the first step, begin to look at what in you must change, not just the stuff around you that needs to change. Number 2, the last of human freedoms is the ability to choose one's attitude in a given set of circumstances. So as you look at what needs to change in yourself, It's probably the attitude that you have about your situation. Number 3, life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. And again, once you change your attitudes, begin to look at a meaning and purpose of your life. Number 4, ever more people today have the meaning to live, but no meaning to live for. And here, again, the reminder is focus on a meaning to live for. What are you setting your sights on? What's the destination in the journey that you're on in recovery? And number 5, those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. And again, in summary, this is as you focus on your meaning and purpose, as you have a why, then you gain the strength to push through today. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. I hope you enjoyed these challenges from Viktor Frankl's quotes. If you'd like to join an online group or get one-on-one counseling to help change your circumstances, please message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com or go to my website, www.fromatod.org, and click on the contact page. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.